Rolling.
It's Tuesday. Let's check the mailbag here. We have a phone number where you can call us. Hit us with some of your strangest personal stories. Let's get to it. What's the first call?
Okay, let's get into it. Yo, get into it. Dead memes. Wait, sorry.
No, go ahead. It's fine.
So when I was about 10 years old, we moved from the house that I grew up in to a house across the street that was owned by my grandparents. Apparently, my mom had always told me that her father died in the backyard. So I was always, worried about grandpa ghosts,
Dang. Grandpa ghosts.
And for whatever reason, shortly after we moved in, we would get these random doorbell rings, phantom doorbell rings, because whenever we would go to the door, half the time, nobody there. So I was convinced for so long
Half
that
the time.
my grandpa, or my grandpa's ghost, was trying to communicate with us somehow. Until one day, I'm on the porch, and I hear the doorbell ring. I'm on the porch, there's nobody there, I hear the doorbell ring. And then I notice, I hear it again. And then finally, I notice across the street, I see someone press a doorbell, and I hear our bell ring. Turns out, our neighbor had the exact same model electronic doorbell as we did, and
Okay.
some type of wires, or I guess wireless, some type of signal got crossed, and we were just getting both of our doorbells rung every time one of us pressed it.
It was one of those wireless doorbells.
Oh, okay.
I used to have one of those.
Yeah,
It was mounted on like my front gate of my house and at the front yard. We had a big fence because we had a mean dog, but it would ring an electric. You like plug it into the wall socket or something.
Okay, I assume it's like a remote control situation where like if you have the same exact remote, like we have like a TV here that whenever that's the same model and we only have one remote. When I try to turn one, the other one will turn on. I assume it's like a similar kind of situation like that.
I was laughing at the idea of Grandpa Ghost being locked out of the house, and all he can do is ring the doorbell. Like, what's the ghost want? Like, let me in. I used to live here. Hello. Go away, Grandpa Ghost. You don't live here anymore. Stop annoying us.
I just realized my coffee has a little mustache on it. Do you see this?
It's personalized to you.
Yeah, look at that. Hold on.
Oh, it's camouflage. Oh, I couldn't even see the cup anymore. Whoa, where'd it go? Just looks like your face. Oh, there it is.
Sorry.
I love how some people are easily entertained.
Yeah, me.
Well, and everybody watching this show. Okay, on to the next call.
Dude, roasted
Sorry,
ourselves.
I've had too much coffee. I have a cold brew. It has twice as much caffeine in
shit.
it. So, I'm firing off on all cylinders.
All right, next caller here.
I meant that in a positive way.
Yeah.
When I was 5, I went upstairs. When I was at my cousin's house, I got bored and played with the sewing machine. The collar of my shirt got caught on the sewing machine, and I remember it hitting my neck. After that, I remember just seeing pitch black. Then I woke up in the middle of the room, and the sewing machine was in the corner of the room. I never told my family or cousins because I thought no one would believe me.
Okay. First off, I just want to say this.
That was a wild story.
Yeah, that guy just he helped us experience that there are more than one dimension. String theory, how like people believe that our souls are like beams of light going through multiple dimensions, and when you die in one, you just go to the next one and you just accept your new dimension. That's what happened to him. He got killed by that sewing machine.
So, if you missed the details of that, he was young. He went into the attic. He played with a sewing machine. Somehow it turned on. Somehow his shirt collar got caught into it.
Yeah.
I can only imagine like, oh, wow, that thing's cool. Whoa, it's so cool. Oh my gosh, how does it work? Oh no, oh my shirt collar. Why did I get so close?
I guess his uncle saw what happened and had to like break him free.
He's getting yanked in. He said it hit his neck. Did the needle hit his neck? Did he get sewed to the machine?
I don't know.
I think
he died.
Ghost of whoever owned that sewing machine was like, I can't let the little child die on my machine. And she rescued him and put him in the middle of the room and did some ghost resuscitation and then safely put the sewing machine into the corner.
It's gonna be like a Goosebumps story or something. Like one day, he's gonna be like on his deathbed, and his children are gonna be like, "Grandpa, you've always had this little string sticking out of your neck. What is that for?" He's like, "I'll finally show you." And then he pulls it off, and his head falls off.
Wow.
Isn't there like an old story like that?
That is some Stephen King level stuff. I love it. You should write that down. That's awesome.
I think that's already a story, but he has a little string sticking out.
Let's go to the next call.
Sure. Okay. We're crushing these calls this week.
Hey, my name is Taylor. I am a huge fan of the show. So I wanted to tell you guys a story about a doll that was brought home from my roommates. There was one day I came home and found this creepy, I'm assuming to be Native American tied doll that was put into a plushie bin of mine full of Pokemon plushies as a prank in my room. And I saw it come up
Transgression 1
in this random spot. So I grabbed it and I started making fun of it and calling it mean names and not having a good time because this doll scared the ever living shit out of me.
Pokemon are you, bitch?
And
you think you could hang with Pikachu?
One of my other roommates saw it and was saying rude things to this doll as well. Well, then a few days later, my car broke down and I had to get a whole new car because it was completely messed up. And then my roommate that also said the mean things to the doll got a concussion at work and was out of work for 2 weeks.
Whoa.
Later, we
punched?
sent
What
this
happened?
doll to a friend's house.
Is your roommate a
as
wrestler?
prank. And one friend kept it in his room while the other two friends said mean things about this doll. Those two friends got COVID, and the one friend who kept it in his room was perfectly healthy. He moved out, and the other friends brought the doll back to our house and didn't want anything to do with it. And then another friend came over to our house, said one mean thing to this doll, and knocked it over.
Why would you do that?
And next
COVID
day at
again.
work, he had a
Struck my
towel
lightning.
rack at work full of towels fall on top of him, and he
At least it was
dislocated his arm.
Oh my
So we're
God.
convinced this doll is cursed, and you have to be nice to it. I don't know, just an interesting story. Might be looking too far into it, but it also is just kind of interesting to see if maybe it's real. So thank you guys for the great show, and keep it up. Yeah, bye.
That was a cool story.
Okay, yeah. So a story about a haunted doll. I've heard a lot of these stories. I mean, this
Me
is
too.
like the whole plot of the Annabelle film series. Haunted dolls. That's like the oldest trinket in the spell book. You know, that goes. I mean, there's so many stories of haunted dolls. Where? Yeah, he kind of said this thing just showed up in his house one day.
Yeah, he said his roommates had put it in his room as like a prank, and then I guess they all got cosmically pranked by whatever is possessing this doll.
He's pretty casual.
Yeah.
But this is probably one of the most terrifying stories we've got.
Yeah, he's
left
just
in
like
our voicemail. He's like,
this
yeah,
guy
so
got shot. And
pretty
my car
confirmed.
blew up.
This doll is like a cursed thing. If you talk shit to it, it'll try to kill you.
Yeah, I would say maybe if you want to do a follow up, fuck with the doll one more time and then tell us what happens. Actually, don't do that. I don't want like their death to be on our hands or anything.
Yeah. I think you're gonna have to get some sort of shaman or spiritual leader to come and sacredly remove that doll from your house safely and sacredly.
If you do that, film it and then send it to us. I want to see.
Yeah, and we'll show it on camera.
Yeah.
We'll show it on the show.
100%.
Thanks for the call. I think we have one more.
Yes, we have one more call here. Let's get into it.
Hi, Derek and Johnny. My name is Melly. I have a strange story about a building I used to work in. I was a dispatcher at a plumbing company, and the building was a combination of offices and a parts warehouse. And oftentimes when I was working there alone, I'd have very creepy experiences, everything from cold spots, problems with electronics, like computer monitors flickering and turning off, the radio suddenly turning on to a station that it was not previously tuned to, whispering voices, footsteps echoing through the warehouse, just weird things. And I could always be certain that I was alone in the building because of how our alarm system was set up. Nobody could enter or leave without you knowing. But despite this, like I said, there would always be strange noises and footsteps and whispering during those times. Could be just quirks of working in an old building, but personally, I always just felt it was very creepy. Thanks for listening. Love the show. Bye.
All right.
Okay.
Well, sounds like that
cool.
place was definitely haunted.
Yeah. That like everything that she was saying reminds me of this studio that we're in right now. A lot of like the other day
What? Really?
Yeah, the other day I was just in here, and then I just heard boom, 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 like so it sounded like someone fucking threw some shit across the room. And I went downstairs and I was like, is everyone okay? Did you hear that? And everyone was like, yeah, I heard that. I thought that was you. And then I searched everywhere. I couldn't find anything that was like pushed over or anything.
What time of day was this?
It was like 6 p.m.
Well, they're probably like emptying the dumpsters in the building.
It sounded like under like I don't.
She's talking about electronics flickering on and off, footsteps. Even though they have a secure alarm system and she knows that she's alone in the building, she's talking about hearing whispering coming around the corridor.
That's creepy.
You heard a book fall over. I mean, come on. You're comparing apples to oranges here.
We had a fucking medium come in here and tell us that this shit was haunted.
That is true. That is true. Jen Daylight. Maybe we should have Jen come back and do a new reading to see if any more or less ghosts have appeared over the past year.
I would like to get a
Or maybe we should send Jen Daylight to that building because that place sounds like it's haunted. That reminds me of a couple buildings here in San Diego that are apparently haunted. Supposedly, the famous cowboy Wyatt Earp ended up in San Diego at the end of his career. This is where he retired. And believe it or not, as the story goes, he opened up a brothel here in San Diego. And that building is haunted. It's an apartment building now. I have some friends who live there. And if you go into the basement, you kind of experience a lot of what that caller was talking about. Cold spots, footsteps, weird whispering. It's an empty basement where they put the washing machine. So a lot of people just go down there at night by themselves to do laundry, and they often report hearing, hauntings going on. So maybe we'll have to sneak into that building one
I'd be
time.
down with that.
Go on location for another episode of Mega Strange.
We haven't done that in a minute.
Yeah, but I think that pretty much brings us to the end of this episode, this little mini episode.
I agree.
Hey, thanks for watching. Subscribe and turn on notifications and share this with anybody if you think they'd like it. And follow us on Instagram. You can find us at the Mega Strange Podcast, at Mega Strange Podcast on Instagram. You can find me at Derek Acosta only.
You can find me at catboy_slim.
And we'll be back every Saturday with a full-length episode of the Mega Strange Podcast. See you then. Bye.
Bye.